marijuana roaches. I started drinking at 15. It's pretty young, man, to do all that. I was just tripping out. Then the next year I'd do coke. The next year meth, free Jägermeister, free beer. A lot of stuff was free. And MTV opened their doors, a private jet, just threw it at her. And my wife got hooked on crystal meth and left me. I took methamphetamines in my suitcases and cracked her in the head, and just blood started pouring down her neck. And I'm gonna kill you. I had like 3 dealers. Cops got called, pretty much probably almost dead. I didn't even know who I was because I was drunk for years. Why can't we just live our dream and be happy? You know, why can't we quit partying? I was born in LA, grew up in Torrance, California, and pretty normal family. My dad was a banker, my mom was a nurse, and there was no church, no one went to church. It was just like, we just lived, you know, we're just normal, worldly people. My dad was he had a real angry side, you know, and so like, when he'd get angry, I'd cower, you know, and so if anybody got angry around me, I'd get that same thing, you know. And around junior high, I was getting picked on a lot, you know. It was the scariest thing ever, you know, and my dad, I knew he loved me and I knew he would help me, but it's like maybe that's where the fear started with, you know, so I didn't know how to like talk. I would think about like just fighting, you know, like standing up for myself, but that horrified me. It was a prison, man. It was a real prison. That's when I started watching a lot of horror movies and stuff, because I was getting picked on a lot, and like I used to like dream about like killing the people I picked on. I know it's kind of out there, but you know, I'd watch TV and just practice my guitar. I loved guitar. And around when I graduated, some of the guys like James, who was also named Monkey, and Reggie, who's also named Fieldy and Korn, and we got into a band, started playing all over Orange County and Hollywood, and we got a deal within a year. It was just crazy. All the stuff, it just took off, and that whole record cycle was nuts. It was cool to be a part of that, but without God, it was completely meaningless, and it sunk everybody's life I was around. Like, they lost, you know, divorces happened, you know, and drug addiction, alcoholism, and every single person. It just wasn't me, you know. I didn't feel like, I just felt, man, I just don't belong here. I got my first check. That was amazing. It was 2.3 million, I think it was. It was crazy. I remember I got that money. I was like, oh, wow, look, honey. You know, I was married at that time. I married my girlfriend, and we made it. You know, this is like, we can buy anything you want. And she was like, we were fighting that day, and I was like, why are we fighting? I just got $2 million right now. Life was good for a while. We had our daughter, Janaea, and we got clean and stuff for like 2 months. Then I hit the road, and I started partying again and stuff like that. But we tried to get our lives together, but it just wouldn't happen. And when we would party together, it would get violent. She would always attack me, you know. I'd just go to another room sometimes just because I didn't want, because she'd fight me like she was a dude, you know. I took the phone, I just threw it at her, and it, you know, cracked her in the head, and just blood started pouring down her neck, and she threw her skateboard against the window. The cops got called, baby was crying, all this stupid stuff like that. I got a phone call from my wife. She said, I'm leaving you, I'm done, we're done. I was like, okay, the women aren't working, my marriage didn't work, I can't be a good dad. Christmas in 2004, I was hooked on the crystal meth, and I just remember going to the store. My daughter came up and said, she had a piece of cake like from Albertsons or whatever, and she goes, can we get this? And I go, no. And she goes, let's get it for Jesus' birthday. Because she started hearing about it she went to Catholic church with my cousin. And I was like, I felt convicted right there, because I was like, because I went through Christmas already. Christmas already passed, you know. We didn't celebrate Jesus' birthday. And I was like, all right, we'll get it. I felt like ashamed or whatever. You know, it was family day. You're supposed to stay home at night on Christmas Eve, you know, wake up early with your family. But every year I kept going out with my friends and getting wasted. And then the next year I'd do coke. The next year I'd meth, you know. And it just got really bad, and I felt bad, like I was doing the wrong thing, you know. I felt like it was so wrong. After doing the meth for 2 years, I was just done. I was over my life. I wanted to die. I just kept trying to quit, and I couldn't quit. So I had this guy that was a Christian who built monster trucks. I thought Christians were all boring and like just, certain stereotype. But this guy was cool, so he never even talked about Jesus. His wife was like the spiritual one, and I think he just tagged along with her mostly, but I went to church with him. The pastor just said, come to Jesus as you are. Everything will start to fall away from you. And in my sick and twisted mind, my meth mind, I was like, I'm gonna go home and snort meth and talk to Jesus, and then it's just gonna fall away from me because he said, come as you are. So I raised my hand at church and received Christ, and I did. I went home and I railed out a big old line and I snorted it and I said, Jesus, take this from me. Basically, are you real? And within a couple weeks, I felt this presence just come around me, and I threw away my drugs, and I just knew inside that God revealed himself to me. That was the best feeling ever. The only thing I brought was a desire to change. I asked, I said, will you help me do this? And I never gave up. It feels good now, because when God came into my life, it's just, everything's full now, it's like, there's no words that can describe the peace and the contentment. I'm where I'm supposed to be. He answers prayers, and he does, and all the time for me, and all the time for anybody that prays. If you're out there and you're broken and you're just lost and confused and stuff, and go to God yourself and just say, Jesus, I need you. I'm a sinner. I was born a sinner, and I need you to come into my life and save me. All you gotta say is, Jesus, I surrender my life to you, and seek after him every day, and you'll never be the same.